Welcome to another episode of Who Got That Inheritance Deal. Today we're going to fly to Maryland. We're going to look at 17 or 18 inheritance property records that were purchased by investors. All of these properties were purchased directly by contacting the heirs to buy that inheritance property. Every single one of these properties were posted as successful data within leadcruncher.com right after the individual passed away. Equal opportunity for anybody want to contact an heir and buy the property. A lot of these investors use direct mail to get their deals. Absolutely. A lot of times the property is vacant and the first thing the family members would do, put a forwarding address. Postcardcity.com that does a lot of mailing for our customers, they got this thing down to a science. In fact, when they take 1,000 records of the properties from successor data, instantly the post office will verify all of those 1,000 records and then will give them the updated forwarding mailing addresses for those individuals. The reason being is simple. Look, grandma passed away in Maryland and the son lives in San Diego, California. Well, what is he going to do right after the funeral? He's going to put a forwarding address to get the mail. Postcard City has got it done. Contact postcardcity.com. Their number is 909-500-1580. Talk to Julio. He can tell you anything you want to know. Number two, they got your letter done. Whether you're an investor, you're a real estate agent, you want to buy fix and flip, you want to list the property, they got it all figured out for you. You don't have to invent the wheel. Just follow the instruction. Put on your seatbelt. We're going to fly from our office in Altamont, California to Baltimore in Baltimore City County, Maryland. The first property belonged to the late Tracy Bryant, passed away on July 30, 2023, and the family decided to liquidate this property. As it happened, Future Select Investments LLC contacted them directly, and they paid $150,000 for this beautiful historical home. The estimated value is about $280,000, and guess what? They bought it directly. It was not listed. What would have happened had they not contacted them? The family would have listed the property and sold it through a real estate office. From Baltimore, we're going to fly to Stevensville in Queen Anne's County, Maryland. This property belonged to the late Robert Cope. Inside Real Estate LLC contacted the heirs directly and bought this property for $146,778. The Z estimate is $419,400, and there was no agent involved. Let's fly to Westminster in Carroll County, Maryland. We're looking at the property that belonged to the late Robert L. Property that's 1519 East Deep Run Road, Westminster. The LLC that bought this property is 1519 Deep Run Road LLC. Contacted the family directly, paid $100,000 for this beautiful property, and the estimate is $188,700. Let's go back to Baltimore in Baltimore City County. We're looking at the property that belonged to the late Lance Brown, property at 3510 Cedardale Road in Baltimore. Lion Real Estate LLC contacted the family directly and paid $130,000 for this property. They paid less than 50 cents on a dollar. The estimated value is $276,600. One more property in Baltimore. This property belonged to the late Keith Payne, passed away on July 14, 2022. And on January 2nd, 2024, Deals MD LLC contacted the family, paid $23,000 for this property. The Z estimate is $85,000. Folks, this is 23 cents on a dollar. I mean, if you rent this property for $500, you have $200 cash flow. This is the power of the inheritance property records. Heirs liquidate. It's point simple, they liquidate. Let's fly to Mount Airy at Frederick County, Maryland. We're looking at the property that belonged to the late John Gerace, 13132 Manor Drive, Mount Airy. GA Washington LLC contacted the family directly and picked up this deal at $275,262. Boy, that was some kind of a negotiation, right? The Z estimate is $516,200. And if you think it's not possible to get something at 50 cents on the dollar, well, I hope you think twice by now. Flying back to Baltimore in Baltimore City County, Maryland, looking at the property that was owned by the late Joanne Permon, property at 2604 Wakeworth Lane. Jack Realty LLC contacted the heirs and picked up the inheritance property for $130,000. The Z estimate is about $253,000. Looking at the property, all they have to do is do some minor cleaning and put it up for rent. This property is cash flow all day long. We're still in Baltimore, Maryland. We're looking at the property that was owned by the late James Camphor, property at 1644 Northgate Road. Rudess LLC contacted the heirs and bought this inheritance property for $125,000 on January 25th, 2024. The Z estimate is $258,000, exactly 50 cents on the dollar. Magic, right? Magic. At 50 cents on the dollar, you can wholesale it, you can keep it for rent. It is a great, great position to be. A couple of miles away from that property, we're looking at the property that was owned by the late James Edwards, property at 4905 Gilroy Drive. General Guzman Contractors LLC contacted the heirs and bought this property directly for $110,500. This property is about 1,148 square feet. The estimate is $211,400. Excellent rental property. Another inheritance deal in Baltimore. We're looking at the property that was owned by the late Doris Partlow, property at 2515 Calverton Heights Avenue. 3805 Bel Air Road LLC contacted the family and picked up this 1,324 square feet property for $76,000. The Z estimate is $176,300, about 45 cents on the dollar. Let's fly to Capitol Heights in Prince George's County, Maryland. Looking at the property that was owned by the late Doris Williams, property at 7210 Joplin Street in Capitol Heights. This property was picked up by Capricorn Service LLC. They contacted the family directly, no agent involved. They paid $160,000, and the Z estimate is $332,700. Let's fly to Joppa in Hartford County, Maryland. We're looking at the property that was owned by the late Donald Felt, property at 1002 Pine Road. Investor Pine LLC contacted the family and picked up this inheritance property for $120,000. It's a 1,310 square feet house on 54,000 square feet lot built in 1942. Flying to Hagerstown in Washington County, Maryland, looking at the property that was owned by the late Dolores Smith, property at 12113 Walnut Point Road in Hagerstown. Drury Properties LLC picked up this inheritance property. It's about 1,720 square feet on 52,000 square feet lot size. They paid $118,000. The Z estimate is $249,400. Flying back to Baltimore at Baltimore City, we're looking at the property that was owned by the late Diane Alexander. Axiom Capital Group LLC contacted the heirs and paid $79,500 for this property with a $148,000 Z estimate. It's about 1,200 square feet, built in 1940. Flying to Owings Mills in Baltimore County, Maryland, we're looking at the property owned by the late Deanne Heslop, property at 9345 Owings Choice Court. Dominion Properties LLC picked up this inheritance property for $185,100. The Z estimate is $347,000. It's a 1,500 square feet condo built in 1997. Makes it a great rental. Another property in Baltimore owned by the late David Obby, property at 519 Collins Avenue. The Lezen Group LLC picked up this inheritance property for $90,000. The estimate is $176,500. Flying to Hurlock in Dorchester County, Maryland, looking at the property that was owned by Charles Colburn, property at 201 Center Street. Denton Restoration Properties LLC picked up this inheritance property for $50,000. It's 1,324 square feet on 10,000 square feet lot size, built in 1930. The estimate is $139,100. Flying to Owings in Calvert County, Maryland, looking at the property that was owned by the late Arthur Marquez, passed away on October 18, 2023. And on January 22, 2024, Homebridge LLC recorded their deed on this property for $207,200. The estimate is $419,000. I want you to think when they contacted the family, right after the funeral. That's why we post the records within 3 to 4 days after somebody passed away, because time is of the essence. If you like the content of this video, you find more videos like it on my channel. We hear this from people all the time, but those little mouse clicks will go a long way to help me in the algorithm. So please click the little thumb guy. Please subscribe and help yourself with all my tools linked in the descriptions. These are tools me and my teams have developed over the years, tools I wish I had when I started in real estate. Thank you for watching and have a great day.